And we are live. Hello. Hello. I am ready. Are you ready to talk about the live action One Piece? Like D-Stream. Hey, thanks, Texake. Sick. Hello. Better late than never. We are going to be discussing this, the live action. That, that thing that came out just a few days ago. Everything's fine. Listen, don't worry. I have had enough time to watch it over so many times. Let's see. Okay, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Let's see. We can just kind of pull it up. I'm gonna mute it, of course. I'll have the music going in the background. I don't know if that's low, can't hear it. I don't know. But yeah. I've got nothing planned. I've been thinking about it for a while. And I was gonna do an actual video, but then I just like streaming more. It's more fun. There's a lot of feedback. If you saw my my reaction to the last chapter, I said that I was going to try and do it this Sunday, so we are. And see what everyone thinks about the live action, because I have purposefully not watched anybody's review of it except for the first 15 minutes of Mother's Basement's review, because I haven't watched them in a long time, their channel in general, but I know they make good stuff. So I was like, oh, well, let me just see what they had. And they had nothing but great things to say about it. So, I mean, that goes along the lines with how I'm going to start out with this. Because, just jumping right into it, I liked it. Obviously, considering it's been trending in 69 countries, I don't know, worldwide, for 2 weeks, I get the idea that a lot of people like it, or at least have given it a chance, and yeah, I was pretty happy with how it turned out. I was gonna also break this out into the first 4 episodes today, and then maybe next Sunday talk about the next 4, but I'm gonna do it real loosey-goosey. So we're just gonna talk about the whole thing. I can go to the episode if there's a specific part that I want to talk about, but overall, I liked it. Let me see. I did, breaking up into that first 4 and last 4, I have to say that I liked the first 4 episodes. Well, I liked the first episode possibly the best. And that's also the one that I've watched the most. Hey, what's up? How's it going? I've watched the first episode the most. And even though there are a lot of changes, I feel like the overall spirit of One Piece is captured really, really well in that first episode. It's, you find Zoro, you find Nami, you find Kobe, Alvida, Axe Hand. It's a lot of stuff going on that, even though, like I said, it changes it up, they're at the bar, all of them kind of come to the restaurant all together. They change all that up, but it works for the better, except for maybe the part, I don't know. There's a lot of things, right? There's a lot of nitpicking. So as I go through this review, I want you to know that overall, for what it is, it's a 10 out of 10. 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. I won't go that far. There's a lot of things I'm pretty upset with. 8.5. Final answer. 8.5 out of 10. I just realized my thing says chapter. Get that rid of it. Oh, hey, hi, Butter. Rewatch factor is great for plenty of Easter eggs. Yes, they did. They actually made us silly. Yes, 100%, for sure. 8.5 out of 10, because I think my biggest complaints are probably Nami's backstory and her arc. And I might retract that. Sanji's goodbye with Zeph was a big issue to me. Nami's backstory was a huge issue to me. But the way that it ended, the finale fight with Arlong, that was pretty well done. R.I.P. to Hachi. It was really, you gotta remember what we're doing here. It's a live action, so I guess I can't be too upset that there's not an octopus, but a walking octopus. But I'm still kind of upset, especially if the series goes on longer. I mean, spoiler alert, but Hachi comes back and he's pretty relevant. Are they gonna give that to Chu? Come on. But Nami's, the finale and everything is good. The thing that I saw most about what other people think about the series as a whole is that they didn't like Garp's introduction. I liked Garp's introduction until the very last, the very last episode. Super fucking cool that they had Garp fight Luffy. Obviously, there was an enormous Easter egg of the hockey, observation hockey, and armament hockey, which was so cool. So cool. I lost my shit. That was amazing. If that's what they wanted to do, great. And even Garp talking to Zeph, that was really cool. Like, just seeing, oh, yeah, that was all cool. I didn't mind Garp. And getting more Kobe, I think there definitely could have been less Kobe in Helmeppo. That's a big complaint of rewatching it. I find myself skipping the Kobe and Helmeppo parts because it was adorable and I loved it in the first time, but considering all the things that they did cut for assumably time, they could have done away with a lot of the Garp Kobe stuff. However, it was really cool to focus on Kobe as the mirror of Luffy as they're both coming into their own. So I understand why they did it. And I'm not entirely mad of it. But the thing that I didn't like about the Garp thing is that the whole time he was just testing Luffy. I mean, you can look at it two ways. You can say that that was a very Garp thing to do. But for him to just then leave, be like, oh, okay, this whole time I got all my Marines just to test you. I knew I wouldn't change your mind. I mean, it wasn't about that. I just wanted to make sure that you knew that you were supposed to be a pirate. I'm like, wait, what? Garp wouldn't do... I don't know. It didn't seem very Garp-like. So that was my big complaint, is that all of it kind of took away from everything leading up to it. Because, in my personal opinion, when Kobe stood up to Garp, before Garp went after Luffy and all that, when Kobe stood up to him and said, like, Luffy's gonna be a pirate no matter what, because that's who he is. He didn't choose to be a pirate. He is a pirate. You just need to, like, you can't keep following him. You can't keep doing this. And Garp looks like he's gonna change his mind, but he's clearly not. And then he's like, alright, no hold back. I'm going after Luffy even stronger now. So if they had done that, like, that's the reason that Garp goes away, that could have been better. But just the fact that he did corner Luffy, he got to Luffy, he fought Luffy, and he's like, alright, you didn't give up. You didn't give up as soon as I caught you, so, hey, sounds like you're really serious. I just feel like the backstory, everything we know about Luffy and Garp growing up, and all the shit that he gave Garp, you know, both ways, I feel like Garp wouldn't doubt Luffy's conviction. And that was the whole point of his chase, right? Is he wanted to make sure Luffy had his conviction? I don't know. It kind of took away from everything leading up to it because of that very last scene where he was like, oh, no, you do want to be a pirate. All right, good job. We're gonna go then. Everybody head out. Let's go catch some more long pirates. I don't know. But that was the thing that I saw most people talking about, was the whole Garp thing. But let's start from the beginning. Because like I said, Nami's thing, I think my main issues, big issues, is with Nami's backstory. And kind of how they played leading up to Arlong Park. Like the actual fight on Coco Village. But, as I was saying before, the episode 1 of getting Luffy's backstory, I'm gonna pull some of these up here. You know, everyone did a really good job. Kobe did a great job. Kobe's actor did a great job. Oh, the thing with Mr. Seven and Zoro, that whole thing was crazy cool because, I mean, to see Zoro doing his own thing before he meets with Luffy is pretty interesting because, of course, in the manga, we just see Zoro tied up immediately, and that's, I mean, we just have, you know, we have his reputation to go off of, I guess. But here you get to see, like, oh no, he's a badass. And that's also, listen, that's another complaint. It's gonna be a lot of complaints, but again, 8.5 out of 10. It was still good. Oh, like, that's really cool. Where he blows out all the candles. Super, super cool moment there. But I don't know if it's a director's issue. I want to give the actor Mikenyu the benefit of the doubt because he said that he grew up on One Piece and Zoro was his favorite character, and obviously, like, the sword skills and everything, perfect. The way that they played him, very edgy. Like, he's like, oh, I'm gonna wear all black in Sierra Village with Kaya's mansion thing. I'm like, why are they making him Sasuke? Why did they make Zoro Sasuke? I don't know. Nami not leaving the crew by choice really bothered me. Yeah, see, like, that thing, too. I mean, it was a really cool moment that she, like, came back to see Zoro's fight, but then, yeah, like, she didn't... They did weird choices with Nami. And it took, like, every choice I think that they changed lessened the emotional impact of it, but... Oh, yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that being a nod to Mr. 1. Mr. 1 or Mr. 2? Because Mr. 0. Yeah, Mr. 1. God, it's been a long time. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That is true. Number 1, where he flips him off. That is true. I didn't even think about that. That's cool. See, look, I've watched this how many times? And still getting rewatch value out of it. Beautiful. But, yeah, we'll get to the Nami thing, because... Seeing Luffy actually getting his scar was amazing, you know, because that's not even a freaking anime until episode 900 something. So seeing little Luffy, which, by the way, little Luffy, I will die for. I absolutely love him. And his dynamic with Shanks is really well done. It was cool to see Shanks's crew. Especially Lucky Roo, he was my favorite, by far. Lucky Roo and Yasop. You know, those were the two good ones. I'll say that. But there was a lot of, and I might mention this throughout it, so sorry if I'm repetitive, but there are a lot of moments, the first one being, it actually might be in the next episode. It was in the next episode. Where Shanks comes out and says, like, oh, you can spill beer on me and smash bottles on me. You know, the very iconic Shanks things, but don't you ever mess with my friends. There are a lot of iconic dialogue moments that fall flat. And again, I don't want to say it's because of the actors, but I mean, I'm putting a lot of shit on the director then, or whoever's making these choices, if it's not the actors. But there's a lot of moments, like Nami's big moment with the knife and everything against Arlong, again talking about Nami, I'm sorry. It just really, it wasn't what I don't know. Did you hear it being sucking? Yes! Yes, I did. Oh my god, immediately I was crying. Yes, because this first episode, like I said, with all the things that they changed, Oh my god, Helmeppo! Listen, the whole Helmeppo thing, crazy. Crazy that they made him naked playing with swords. Okay, that sentence, yeah, sounded a lot worse than in my head, but oh my god, that was so crazy that they do that. Absolutely bonkers. But the introduction, even Morgan's talking to Zoro here, like, all of these changes, I think were for the better, because then Luffy finds Zoro tied up. The only thing that I would complain about is that we don't get that really cool scene when Luffy and Kobe are in the bar when Helmeppo shows up. You know, Luffy had already gone and seen Zoro, I think, at that point, or heard about him. I'm pretty sure Luffy had already seen Zoro tied up, and that's when the whole, the kid who made the onigiri showed up and everything. When Helmeppo said that, oh no, we're not actually gonna let him go after he survives 20 days or whatever it is in the manga. We're gonna kill him tomorrow, I'm bored. And Luffy just, without hesitation, just rolls up and decks Helmeppo in the face, just showing that, like, impulse, but also no hesitation to stand up to someone for another person, regardless of their rank or whoever the hell they are. So that's a really cool, like, Luffy personality moment that was left out of here. But on the contrary, when Luffy and Nami meet and they're walking around the marine base and Luffy's just like, I have to say, Inaki has Luffy's walk down pat. It is so good. Like, you see him walking like, oh, okay, and he's just going away. It is really well done. I absolutely loved it. Emma was actually portraying perfectly. Yes. It's a character changes and the lack of dramatic focus. It's directed like a silly Marvel series. Yes, a lot. My friends have said that a lot. It's very, and that's what I'm trying to keep in mind, is it is created in live action, unfortunately, to grab a bigger audience, so it needed to be more mainstream. Like the jokes and the edgy Zoro, and even Nami. She's got, I mean, she breaks out of it at the end, which makes perfect sense for her character. I'm not saying anything, but it takes a lot for her to break out of her shell, because the whole point is that she's standoffish at first, and then she warms up with the crew and like gets along with them and just like has a grand old time having fun, helping them, and then you find out that she's gonna betray them, which is like even more impactful. But with this, there's like one scene, maybe two, with her and Zoro kind of letting loose, and then right before, I guess before Garp shows up, because then they're all laughing, and it's like the first time that Nami even laughs. I don't know, they just make her very stoic and angry the whole time. Which again, it can go with her character, but it's just more impactful to see her letting go and being really happy with the crew before she chooses to leave. But can't wait to see Chopper, oh boy. Nightmare Chopper. Hey, hashtag Chopper as a puppet. It's going around, right? Let's make him a puppet and not a live action or a CGI abomination. Oh, yep, there's the cheeks. Yep, perfect timing. But overall, the Axe Hand Morgan stuff was really well done. And, you know, the fight sequences are amazing. And the fact that all of them do their, like, the majority of their stunts. I mean, Zoro and Sanji do just about all of them. Sanji does all of them. Zoro does all but a single moment where he flies across the deck by Mihawk. And Inaki here, he's like, you know, we see in the behind the scenes, which of course I've watched. If you haven't, what are you doing? There's so many like really quick behind the scene things of them learning the stunt choreography and the fights. I mean, Emily Rudd did karate, and so she's flying that bow staff around. It's actually her. It's not a stunt double. It's great. It is great to see how it's definitely more fight heavy. And I think it was even mentioned by one of the behind the scenes moments that we get to focus more on Nami fighting here too, because we don't see her with her bow staff a lot in the series. But oh man, then this shot with that OG3 right here, damn, it's good. It's good. Chopper might just be a human in his yeah, I heard that too. That he could just be like, you know what, whatever they do is gonna be weird. So, like Chopper himself, there's no hope for him, so I'm not worried about it. Sorry, Chopper. Not really, I don't care about that, but, you know, we'll see. We'll be very interested to see what Chopper does. But yeah, I mean, this first episode, like I said, is really, really well done. Oh, that's the thing that I complained about the very first time I watched it, is Kobe. There is not a lot of Kobe development in the very first episode, but I guess you could definitely wave that off because we get a lot of Kobe development later on. But the scene I'm specifically talking about, of course, is when Kobe and Luffy are confronted by the Marines who show up, which I guess it's Garp in this version, so they couldn't have had that happen exactly like it did in the manga, just because they had Garp take the place of the Marines who come to the island. But regardless, when they face off against the Marines, Luffy, like, entices Kobe to stand up to him and punch him in the face. And that's a huge moment for Kobe, because Luffy's about to ruin his chances to become a Marine, and Kobe loses it, and he actually, like, stands up for himself and punches Luffy. And it's just a really cool Kobe moment. And Luffy moment, because Luffy constantly has that, like, sixth sense to know exactly what he needs to do to help another person. So he's like, I know what I need to do. I need to... I mean, you know, could have gone bad, as most things of Luffy's decisions do. Could have gone real bad. Should have probably gone real bad. But... you know, he's like, okay, I'm gonna sell you out and see what you do. He's like, oh yeah, this guy's been working on Alvida's crew. You know, he hypes Kobe up to make him pissed, and enough to strike out and also prove that they're not allies. You know, that whole scene does a lot for Kobe and Luffy's relationship, and although we do see a lot more in the live action season, like I said, there's a lot of Kobe in it. And we even get an adorable Kobe and Luffy ending where Kobe's the one who shows Luffy his wanted poster. That's a perfect scene added in there to show. It's a lot of like a mix of Water 7 here, because that's when you find out Garp is his grandfather and Dragon is his dad, which we guess we don't find that out at least, but big spoiler. My friend is currently watching... oh god, we have to get to Buggy. Oh boy, Buggy. Let me tell ya, Buggy. But my friend is, I think she just got done Skypiea. I think she was in Longland maybe, or just after that. Regardless, didn't get to the part where Garp was revealed to be Luffy's grandfather. And she watched this because we didn't know, or didn't, you know. Whoops. Spoiler alert. You know, you learn that 300 episodes later, 400 episodes later, but, you know, second episode, yep, we're gonna talk about it. Oh man, Buggy here. Buggy here. We're just gonna leave that right there. But spoilers aside, it happens. Buggy. Now I'm gonna say this, too, before I forget, to emphasize it. Every single one of the villains crush it. Buggy, Kuro, Arlong, Axe Morgan you don't get too much of, you don't get much from Don Krieg either, but I mean, that's still great. You get to see Pearl on the ground, that's so funny. But, I feel like I'm missing someone. Kuro, Arlong, Don Krieg, yeah, Buggy. They're all fantastic. Mihawk, god, Mihawk. But Buggy has gotten, of course, a lot of kudos. Let's just go on to the next episode, too. He has gotten a lot of positive feedback for being Buggy, because it is great. I 100%, 150% support this Buggy. Okay. And Mochi, that's so funny that the dancing lion was referenced. I mean, there's a lot of references in this that you really gotta watch out for. It's really good. But I will say it that the villains, their acting, kind of a lot of times, more often than not, overshadows like the main crew. Again, not saying that they did a bad job, but a lot of the dialogue is a little weird. It's very cliche. It's very, you know, like I was saying, like you said, like Marvel-y, you know, that banter back and forth. That's sometimes like One Piece, but you can also tell where it's just kind of being mainstream-manized. That's a word. That's going to be a word now. But the villains are along. He's got the talk no jutsu. Oh my god. Like his speeches, his monologues are super crazy good. His demeanor's great for Arlong. Buggy obviously steals the show. Let's do the stomp. I like this scene. It's a very weird Zoro scene, right? Because Zoro is cocky, right? And in the beginning, he is introduced as a kind of a scary guy, like in the first episode. But you quickly realize that Zoro's just as goofy as Luffy. And that's one of the fun parts about Zoro, is that he's not Sasuke. He's not just the edgy counter to the main character who's goofy. Goofy Luffy. He's also goofy. And they really go in on him just being like, oh, I'm Roanoa Zoro. How many times does Zoro call himself Roanoa Zoro in this? I have no idea. But it's like at least twice per episode. I, Roanoa Zoro. I'm Roanoa Zoro. Like, when he steps up to Buggy, he's like, I'm Roanoa Zoro. Surrender now and I may let you live. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, buddy? It's so weird. That's another thing, is the scene could have been... Buggy's reveal could have been a lot better. They should have kept it with Zoro's swords being the reveal of Buggy's fruit, because that's the whole point. I don't know how they would have changed it. They could have let him keep his swords or whatever because they weren't worried. But Zoro needed to like attack Buggy. Maybe when after Luffy was in the water chamber, and Luffy and Nami and Zoro break out and then go attack Buggy. That should have been it. Where it was kept secret until that point, and Zoro goes to attack Buggy and he just comes apart. You know? Could have been a lot cooler. Instead, Luffy punches his head off, which is still shock value for those who don't know. But the way that it's introduced with Zoro being the one, you know, he gets cut and he can't be cut, it's way cooler. But still, Buggy. But yeah, Zoro's very edgy, and I don't know if I like it. In fact, I don't. I did like the way that they made Luffy's backstory. I think Luffy's backstory is by far the best well done. The most well done. The best one. Hey, this is the moment that I was talking about. This scene where it's like, don't you ever threaten my friends. He's very, it just falls flat. It's like the Big Shanks moment, and it just falls flat. But, I don't know. That's a cool scene, though. Lucky Roo's still capping a bitch. That's it. Slices that chicken nugget. Oh, it's so good. And again, the fight choreography is amazing. But the way that they did it where then... Let's see, where are we? It goes... right when they're drowning. When yeah, this back and forth with baby Luffy falling into the water, with Luffy drowning in the water bin, the water tank of death, whatever Buggy calls it. I think it's really well done. And although I don't think there's a lot of emotion, there was a lot of emotion left out of Zoro's backstory in my opinion, but they still did a very well, they I don't know if juxtapose is the proper word, but they put it with the current plot really well. Where he was trying to climb the brick wall, the well, and he fell, and that's when Quina died, and then he like picked himself up in the backstory and in current times, and like climbed out of the well and succeeded, and that's when he's like, I'm gonna be the greatest swordsman, I'm gonna take her sword. So that was a really cool scene, where they did backstories well in that sense, that it was mixed in with the current storyline really well. Wasn't impressed by the whole Shanks losing his arm part. Sanji was great too. How'd you feel about them separating the backstory and showing us into parts? Yeah, exactly what I was saying. I think Sanji's went on a little too long, and I think Sanji kind of got the shortest end of the stick when it comes to character development in the first season. Because we see a lot of emotion when Zeph and Sanji are watching Luffy fight Don Krieg. It's a very impactful moment, both for Sanji, but also for Luffy. And the fact that I think it's very cool that Mihawk off-screened Don Krieg while he was talking to Garp. Like, that is still such a perfect callback to Mihawk cutting the ship in half and all that. But I don't think his backstory should have been so elongated. They should have focused more on some emotion from Sanji. I thought it was weird too how they had Shanks in the boat when he saves Luffy. Manga makes it clear. Yeah, see, I was actually going to say that too, is I saw like a random post on Twitter or something saying that people might or did think that it was a devil fruit that Shanks had versus him in the water. So they definitely should, like, I mean, I understand that Shanks couldn't be treading water, live, anime Shanks could do whatever he fucking wants, because it's anime Shanks, or manga Shanks, whatever you want to call it. But I understand that live action Shanks wouldn't be able to be treading water and holding Luffy and fighting off a Sea King. But they should have just had Shanks like jump off the boat to get Luffy and then bring them back into the boat. Then they can have the standoff. It would be much more like cinematic in the boat and everything. But yeah, it's very true. I didn't even think about that, but I had seen someone say that on Twitter, that people think that it's a devil fruit, that he controlled the Sea King or something like that. So I never realized the importance of it being in the water. Luffy backstory could have been a lot more emotional with different direction style too. Too many fast cuts, too little focus on it. Yes, yeah, that was my main, I didn't see that as big of an issue on my rewatches, but the first time watching each episode, I thought that it was very fast paced. Exactly what you said. Like, a lot of them were hard cuts, going on. And yeah, like the emotional moments weren't quite there, but I have a lot less to complain about Luffy's backstory. I think they did it pretty well done, except for that Shanks moment. I don't know. It is hard. I don't know if it's because we're comparing, at least majority of people do also consume the anime. And of course, like, Japanese voice actors and anime in general are so good with conveying emotion just from dialogue. And that's often a complaint for dubbed, is because for some ungodly reason, American at least English voice actors can't do that. So they always sound dumb when, not always, a lot of them are really done. I think for the most part, One Piece, at least like the main crew, their dubbed versions are pretty well done. But overall, that's the meme, is that the dubbed voice actors don't do a good job in conveying emotion. Here we're seeing it in live action. They're not doing a good job at conveying the emotion. And that's what you would want to rely on, or like really go into with a live action recreation, is you can see someone's micro expressions and emotion way better when they're an actual person, because anime, it's a pretty simplified cartoon style and you can't always see the emotion. That's why the dialogue has to be so emotional, because it's not really always being portrayed in the picture. And then manga, that's a whole other thing, but yeah, for live action, you would really want to see it like in their eyes and in their expressions, all this emotion, because it's East Blue is very emotional. Every single of the main beginning Straw Hat members have a very emotional moment throughout all of it. And even with Zoro, like, when he goes against Mihawk and is defeated, and he does the sword thing, which is, again, panel by panel, exactly what the manga was. Oh, this moment. No, they should not have made him swallow that map. That was a bold move. Insane. Absolutely insane. But just crazy. Crazy that they really had Luffy just swallow the entire map. But, oh, and Choo-Choo! Shoo-Shoo! I said Choo-Choo. Shoo-Shoo! Dude, at the end of this arc, if I said Shoo-Shoo or I riot, they showed Shoo-Shoo. Cat, what are you doing? You just ripped the curtain. Why? Why are you like this? But Shoo-Shoo or we riot? I got a little Shoo-Shoo right there. It's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Where is he again? I want to see him. Oh, there he is! Oh, the little Shoo-Shoo. I think that's so good that they did that. It's great, it's great, it's great. But there's a lot of emotional moments. Oh god, Mary. They fucking killed Mary. Quite the bold move. And I'm not gonna say I don't like it, because nothing against Mary, but already showing that the live action isn't afraid to actually, you know, very bold. And, you know, is also a very big complaint of One Piece is no one dies. They're showing that right here. A quite prominent figure, Mary, is just dead. Which is crazy. And I will say that Jacob as Usopp is, aside from Luffy, my favorite. Like, Luffy and Usopp are my two by far favorite representations of the characters. It is great. Hey! Climbed aboard. Thanks for the subscribble. But, I mean, Usopp is so good. His backstory definitely wasn't emotional. Like, he talked to his mom, and I very much like the very beginning, where they do, the pirates are coming and they restart it each time. They restart it to show it happening again and again and again. Perfect, like, very well done. I did really enjoy that. But then he talks to his mom, and he's like, I don't even fucking know what he says. But he talks to his mom. His mom says one line, and she's like, you're gonna be a brave warrior of the sea, just like your father. She just fucking dies. I'm like, excuse me? There's no emotion. She just fucking dies. I'm like, what? Where was the emotion? And then like, little Usopp is just like, okay. They really do Usopp backstory dirty. And I get that his is the arguably the least emotional. I mean, not arguably. His is the least emotional. Not to say it's not emotional. But compared to the East Blue backstories, yeah. I mean, you got Sanji, maybe Luffy, because, yeah. Luffy's is way better. But they really just said, like, his mom just died. She was just tired, yep. I get it, yeah. I love also he plays off Usopp's line. Yes, he does a really good job. He has a fantastic, just like Luffy, just like Inaki, they do such a good job. Such a good job. I have zero, I don't think I have any complaints, like, of the whole season of Inaki or Jacob. They're both, it's just fantastic. And even the fact that, and again, this could be a director thing, this is probably a director thing, but the fact that they made Luffy more emotional, I get that especially in the East Blue, Luffy's just a psychopath. He's just like punching people saying, oh, you're a wimp, I fucking hate you. And he leaves Kobe. Like, he's an asshole in the beginning. He's dismissive, but he cares, but he doesn't, you know, for obvious reasons, that type of behavior might not be for everyone. And making this all mainstream, they made Luffy a lot more caring. Openly caring. You can obviously say that he was caring throughout the whole East Blue, of course, but like the very beginning, you know what I'm talking about. Like, Luffy was just like, he didn't give a shit. He was just crazy. He punched Don Krieg's fucking spike cape without hesitation. He's crazy in the beginning of One Piece, and this leads up all the way to pretty much the time skip. Luffy is crazy, and he doesn't show emotion. He's like happy-go-lucky until, like, you know, like the Usopp thing. That's when you first really see, I think that's the first time you see Luffy doubt himself at all, is probably the Usopp thing. Unless I'm really forgetting something. Pretty sure. But they go a little bit more in depth with his emotions in this, because even just from letting Zoro fight Mihawk, he's really tore up about it. Kitten, what are you doing? Oh my god. So I think that was a good change, though. Not to say that I would prefer that Luffy than this one, but for the live action rendition of it, I think it was well done that he was a little bit more caring. And so that wasn't a complaint at all. Have Zoro had seen them together during... Why? Yes, I know. I know, yeah, seeing the actual cast as the actors in the interviews and everything, it was really great. All of them are good. Zoro's line, episode 2, is every day gonna be... Yes. Is every day gonna be like this with you? You are no goofy, says Luffy. Is it? Luffy is a crazy crackhead. Yes. Yeah, I mean, he's got the crazy eyes. Especially in the beginning. He kind of loses that later on. Like, he's still very impulsive and does what he wants, but you can tell, like, he matures over the series a lot, visibly. But this beginning, I mean, it's good. It's good how crazy he is. But one thing I'll say is that I don't think Usopp's thing needed 2 episodes. I fully believe that this could have been done in 1 episode, only considering what they cut. Like, a lot of the backstory was rushed, like we were talking about. A lot of the emotional moments of the series were rushed. And I feel like that would have been a lot better if they condensed Usopp's into 1 episode. It would just give a lot more, I don't know. I don't know what they would do with the other episode, or just whatever. But I think Usopp's is drawn out a lot, is all I'll say. It's drawn out a lot. But I love Kaya. She does a really good job. I like the more, I think let's just skip to the next episode when she actually does stuff, but her having a say, her leading them away from the pirates, leading them to, like, her parents' house, that she specifically says, like, I can't even go into their room, I can't even go into their wing. It still bothers me so much. I can't look at their stuff. It upsets me. I can't handle it. For her to, you know, push through that and bring everyone to the wing so that they can be protected from Kuro. I mean, it just, they give Kaya a lot more character. And I mean, Kaya and Usopp, they really, I mean, we all know what's going on with Kaya and Usopp, but the show, they nailed it. Really, 160% enjoyed the kiss, their goodbyes of actually saying like, oh no, yeah, they're a thing. Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's not fan service. It's true. This is where we get to the Zoro backstory, though. I don't know. Very small things. I think that's my main complaint. Is a lot of the things I complain about, they're very small changes could have made it better. Like even 5 more seconds on a certain scene, like on someone's face when it's an emotional moment. A little bit more oomph and emotion from the dialogue. This taking place at night. It was very, I mean, it's symbolic that, okay, like they have the cool scuffle in the beginning, that's fine, but then they're like, oh, we're gonna meet at night, like we're not supposed to. It's a lot more daring, a lot more, you know, ominous that they're gonna do it at night. And the fact that they're just doing this like in daylight in the middle of the woods is weird. Just filming it at night would have brought that drama out so much more. They do a good job. I mean, the sword play is really cool. How Kuina, I mean, yeah, even the kid actors here, they are doing a great job. But there's no emotion. My biggest complaint from, like, this fight is fine. It goes pretty much exactly how it goes in the manga. And like I said earlier, I like how it is. It's like, so look, he gets defeated by Kuina, he falls down the well. It goes really well. I think they did a really good job in that. But then, where is it? This particular moment where he breaks the news to Zoro, I don't know. Not the best, but especially this moment. If this was all I had to go off of, I might not have a complaint. But when you're comparing it to what actually happens, Baby Zoro has so much anger and like emotion. Again with the emotion, it's really not that hard to get. There's so much emotion when Zoro is holding Kuina's sword and bows down to Koshiro and says like, I want to wield her sword so that I will become the greatest swordsman, so great that my name will reach into the heavens. And he is sobbing, he is screaming it, he is declaring it. He's just like, yeah, I mean, can I take this sword? You know, I'll probably use it in a good way. Kinda sucks she's dead. I'm just gonna desecrate her grave right now and just pick up her sword without asking. Because she was like, what the fuck you doing? It's so weird. You can kind of feel the conviction, but not at all compared to, like, what the actual moment is. Where he's like, I'm gonna be the world's greatest swordsman! Ah! You know, he's ballin'. He's ballin' in that. And here, he's just like, I'm gonna be the world's great. Again, losing the emotion of Zoro. What else is? Said yoink my sword now, yeah. I just like how they gave Kaya more agency. Yeah, that's a good word. Yeah, she has a lot more agency. Like, she leads the plot forward a lot. A mini member of the crew. Yeah. Hey, good foreshadowing for Vivi, baby. Huh? Season 2, baby! But yeah, like I said, I think Usopp's is drawn out a lot, whereas I think Nami's is rushed. I don't know if they could have split like half episodes to try and like balance it out, or just made this one episode and made Nami's 3 episodes. I feel like a lot was rushed at the end and didn't really need to be focused on this much. But hey, Kuro here, I don't know the actor's name off the top of my head, but he, especially like this moment where he's looking at that family portrait and mocking Kaya as he's going around, and like the silhouettes of of the furniture with the covers on. It is scary. Like, watching it the first time, I was actually scared. Like, him going through, you don't know where, like, Usopp is, you don't know where Kaya is, and he's just going around slashing everything. It's a horror film. Them walking through the hallways. Oh god, where's Bucci? Hold on. I gotta get my boy. Where's my boy? Absolutely loved that Bucci and what the hell's his name? Something with an S, right? Sham. They do a really well done job, and I like how they're actually integrated into Kaya's mansion so that they really do feel like Kuro's henchmen, and they're not just like pulled out of nowhere later on in the the manga. They just show up on the shores to fight. But right here, where is it? Yeah, my man Bucci, he comes out with the cape and everything. It's so good. I can't watch it without fucking laughing. My man Bucci, man. So good. So good. I love it. I like it. Hey, but important. This is Luffy versus Kuro. One of my biggest complaints for the series as a whole is they do not rough up Luffy enough. He gets his shit rocked in almost every fight, and that's the whole point of Luffy, is he gets beat to shit. You think he, like, for all purposes, he needs to lose, but he wins. Why? Because he breaks his opponent's spirits. And, like, that's a cool moment right there. Like, I think they didn't necessarily take away the whole breaking your opponent's spirit thing, because, like, he punches Kuro and, like, you know, says, like, no, you're not Sly. Like, no, I got you just now. And that was whole Kuro's thing, is being too fast to be hit, and he hits him. So that's the first, you know, the hair gets messed up. It's all very symbolic of Kuro slowly losing it. He was very composed, very perfect butler, and then Luffy punches him unexpectedly, and he's like, whoa, his like hair's all out of place, he's shook, and now he's like going full on a frontal assault, which is not what he's supposed to be doing. So that is still there. The essence of the fight is there. But I don't know if y'all remember, but Luffy versus Kuro, Luffy is cut to all shit because of out of the cat out of the bag attack, which they did not name drop here, and I'm very upset. But the out of the bag attack, where Kuro goes so crazy, and I know they couldn't show how he goes so crazy that he hurts all his crewmates because it's just Luffy. I mean, good thing, because Kaya, Nami, and Usopp were in the room, so that's a good thing that they didn't do that particular thing. But Luffy gets slashed so many times, and he's losing so much blood that by the end of the fight, and he finally gum bells his ass, Luffy passes out. Not to mention, like, one of the coolest scenes of the, when Luffy catches Django's— which is Django? Django's not in it! I did see that. Y'all probably saw this on TikTok. My friend showed me where it's like, oh, you guys didn't see Django, the one who hypnotizes you. You didn't see him, you know, very funny. But they didn't do Django. They reference Mirror Ball Island, where Django— this is a great scene. This is a great scene. They fully, they do Luffy's just pure strength really well in this. Like, time after time when he's punching the columns in Arlong Park and just breaking Kuro's hands there. Well, not breaking them, but, like, you know, breaking them apart. It's well done. But yeah, this man, look, he's flawless looking. He is just flawless. And he gets, what? 4 scratches. He gets a 2 and a 2. He gets 2 little scratches on him. I want to see my boy bloodied. That's when Luffy looks best. Just saying. He needs to, like, show some fight, you know? It's almost like he either wins really easily, or it's just cheap. I don't know. I forget what I was saying now. I got distracted. Luffy needs to be bloodied more. because this is time and time again. Oh, I was gonna talk about the Django thing. Yeah, didn't do Django. Mirrorball Island. Yeah, Mirrorball Island was referenced, which I think is very funny because that's where Django and Full Body. Yeah, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's where they meet and they become Marines and it's all fun. The cover story. Very funny. But one of my favorite scenes regarding Django was when he's like throwing the bladed hypnotize rings, whatever you want to call them, and Luffy catches it catches it in his damn mouth. And that's what pisses him off so much that he like throws the whole ship's mast at them, whatever the hell happens. I don't know, it's really good, but it gives more weight to Luffy when he gets his shit rocked because he's the type of person to double down in a pinch. He's consistent. Yes! Yeah. Again, like, that's Luffy's whole thing. And even, it sucks because in the Arlong fight, Luffy straight up says, like, I guess I can't defeat you, but at least I can defeat everything that you've worked so hard for. I'm like, what? I don't know, maybe it's up to your interpretation, but I'd say that Luffy kicks Arlong's ass in the manga. Like, they go at it for a while, and Luffy wins. And in this one, Luffy doesn't get hit once. And he's like, oh, I guess I can't defeat you. Guess I'm gonna knock down the building now. Like, what? Come on, bloody him up. Get, like, Arlong, like, threatened to bite so many different people throughout this live action. And then he doesn't bite Luffy. He doesn't do the typical, like, bite on his shoulder where Luffy fucking breaks his nose. They do the, the sword thing where he, you know, gets the sword at his neck and he, with his, again, inhuman strength, cracks the sword. Really well done there. That was a really well done scene, I think. But, like, Luffy doesn't have a single scratch on him. Hell, they don't even do Zoro right, because Zoro gets all bloodied to hell when he fights Buggy. They do the Mihawk thing, but even the Mihawk scratch isn't played up, because then the Mihawk scratch, yeah, he's cut in half, basically. I mean, it's visual in the manga. It's a plenty, I don't know what the word is, but not as bad in anime, and they don't really make it that bad in the, in the live action either, is, you know, but it's supposed to be a whole plot point that then Zoro fighting in Arlong Park, he's like bleeding out and Arlong himself rips Zoro's bandages off and he's just like, bleh. Yeah, I'm just basically cut in half and he's still fighting. So the stakes aren't there. Luffy gets 2 little scratches on him from Kuro and then that's it. When he gets punched once or twice, he gets rolled on the floor. Come on, bloody him up! Anyway. His cocky smile when he's on death's door is yes. Yeah, I mean, everything that Luffy is, he's gotta be bloodied. But, moving on, because we're doing this pretty slow, and I didn't want to take a terribly long time, but, this first, I do very much like the Baratiers 2 episodes. I think, wait, where is it? Oh, here it is. We have to talk about Mihawk first. This is so good. Oh, the bounty posters. I don't think I actually talked about that, but the effects of the bounty posters as we introduce all the big characters, so good. 10 out of 10. Because I think I heard someone saying on Twitter again or something, but it's very reminiscent of those, like, nameplates that Oda does when he introduces someone. Like, you'll say their name, their status, and most of the time their bounty, like in that big nameplate when they're introduced. So this is a really cool callback to that, but also stating their bounties, and then each one of them have a different way to get rid of their bounty. Like, Mihawk cuts it up, Buggy flies it out, I think Don Krieg takes his and throws it away. It's really, really well done. They even have Gold Rogers, of course, which that whole opening sequence was really well done. I have nothing to really say about that. Just a lot of great Easter eggs there with Shanks and everyone. You get to see little Mihawk's boat by the by the docks when we see the Gold Roger's execution. But this here, Mihawk, oh boy, he does a good job. Character-wise, he looks great. The choreography is great. This, when he cuts the boat in half, yo. So good. So good. And then we see Don Krieg, and there's Pearl! We get to see Pearl on the ground! And then the only survivor is our boy Geen. Which I do like that Geen is still involved. It's just, well, that's another thing. You know, I was talking about earlier how Sanji doesn't get his emotional moments. His other emotional moments are with Geen. When he fights Geen. That's like the big moment. You see that you see that Sanji is a good guy when Zeph kicks Geen out and Sanji feeds him. Really great moment, and that's when Luffy even says, and they do that well. You know, Luffy's got those you're gonna be my next crewmate eyes. You know, he's given Sanji the eyes, for sure, as Geen is cooked for, and he's talking about Don Krieg and all that. But one of the best Sanji moments early on is how he fights for Zeph, and he fights Geen. And, I mean, hell, I mean, it's good Geen development, too, regardless of whether or not he shows up again. Geen saying, you know, like, Don Krieg, if you're gonna kill Sanji, I need to be the one to do it, because he's the one who fed me. I'm gonna be the one to kill him, basically. And they have a fight. Geen can't do it. You know, it's very emotional there. That's why we love Geen. That's why we want to have him back, baby. Where he at? Man, 1,000 episodes, he hasn't showed up back yet. But that's another Sanji moment where you can see that he'd give up everything for Zeph. And I don't think they have even that moment. You know, I've rewatched it so many times, but I might be wrong. Usopp moment. It's so hilarious that he is just drunk off his ass. But I think the only thing that I can think of, I'm referencing how Sanji and Luffy fight very briefly. Not like physically fight, but argue. They argue very briefly because Luffy sees that Sanji's gonna put his life on the line for the Baratier. And that doesn't matter if he dies, he doesn't want the Baratier, the restaurant itself, to be destroyed because that's Zeph's treasure. Great moment for Sanji, great characterization for Sanji, seeing how in debt he is to Zeph. But then Luffy goes and starts destroying the place. Sanji stops him, says, "What the hell are you doing? Did you not just hear me? I can't let this restaurant be destroyed." And Luffy's like, "No, that's not what he risked his life for. That's not why he saved your life, so that you could just throw it away." And that's exactly what Shanks does for Luffy. And they don't have that. The only thing that I can think of is after all this, when Sanji just, I guess, tells them his backstory, tells them about how he was stranded and Zeph ate his leg, stuff like that. He's like, "Can you imagine someone losing a limb to save your life?" And Luffy's like, yeah, I actually can. You know, it was a cool moment there, but there's not like that emotion, again. There's not that emotion of Luffy, you know, speaking for himself and also to Sanji when he's like, no, like, they didn't risk their lives, so we would just die. It's a really good Sanji and Luffy moment, and another one of Sanji's moments that are taken out. So it's almost like, I don't know. Rewatching, it's like, what does Sanji even do here? I love Chaz Skylar. Like, he does a really good job portraying Sanji. I think the kicks, the choreography is really well done. His fights and everything. it's all really well done, but then you get to the end of it, he doesn't really have any emotional moments with Zeph. He's, like, constantly fighting Zeph, like, angrily. It's almost a little bit too much, I think. There's no softness. There's some soft. I guess, like, Zeph has a little bit of softness when he's talking about Sanji to Luffy, and Luffy's like, you're not gonna stop him from being a cook. And, you know, he cooked Geen a meal in this kitchen because he was starving. He didn't care that he was a pirate, blah, blah, blah. And Zeph's like, oh, good kid, huh? You know, you can kind of see that softness, but between the two of them, you don't get a lot of that. You don't get a lot of that, and then so by the end, Sanji just walks out. Zeph's like, get the fuck out. Sanji's like, okay, and he just leaves, and then suddenly turns around and he's like, I love you, Zeph! You did everything for me! I owe you my life, old man! And it's not emotional, because they've just been fighting this whole time. Watered down One Piece still won the hearts of new fans. Can't wait for them to be destroyed when they pick the anime. Yes. I've seen that. I think that's what we were talking about, is that even this adaptation of One Piece, that, like you said, watered down is a very good way to put this. Even not getting those as emotional moments and not hitting every beat as it's supposed to, doing even half as well as the anime or manga actually is still worldwide trending. It just pleases me. It pleases me immensely to see. I mean, I'm gonna start using that. Watered down One Piece, that's it. Watered down One Piece is still such a hit, and people love it so much because, you know, at the heart of it, it's you feel the spirit of One Piece for the most part in this. Like, the characters do a good job at, you know, interacting with each other and doing everything. Hello, puppy. Hi. Can I help you? Ma'am. Hello. So yeah, imagine if people even gave a shit about the actual anime. Damn. But yeah, for Sanji, I don't know. He's a good support character, and I like him with the rest of the crew. In this. He doesn't even have, like, the emotional moment with Zoro where... And I get that a lot of people love the Zoro and Sanji fight, right? They butt heads constantly, they're constantly arguing. It's a gag that's really funny. But I don't think it's as funny when they do it immediately. The whole point is that they started when Dory and Broggy were fighting, and they competed for the biggest dinosaur that they could catch, which was what Dory and Broggy started fighting about out of nowhere. Like, they were good friends, they were fine, and then they started fighting. I mean, maybe I'm misremembering. It's not like they were best friends, Zoro and Sanji. But they didn't butt heads constantly. And here, they're like, I don't think they say a single line to each other that's not mean or antagonistic. And it's just a little bit too, like, on the head, you know? What was your favorite set? Mine's the Mary. It's gonna be cool to see them on it again. Well, the favorite set? Oh, the Bratier is, definitely a good one. Bratier looks fire as well, yeah. Best set. Purely for set, I mean, the Mary is cool. The Mary's not as horrifying as the pictures are. Still kind of horrifying. The figurehead. But I mean, them just being on the Mary is just so nostalgic. So I love seeing the crew there and them messing around, shooting cannons, you know, just having a grand old time. That is really nice, and I do like those moments. But for the set itself, I was actually, like, surprised how much I really liked Shaki's bar. The way that it was set up, like, right on the docks with all, like, it was, like on stilts, and there was a bunch of just shipping stuff, like netting. It was, like I said, it was right on the docks. You saw all the boats, the dock, you know, all that stuff was... I really liked how they did that, because in the manga, you know, Shaki's bar is just a building down the street, and it's just a regular bar. But this was like really open concept bar, like it's like a tiki bar. And I think that it fit the aesthetic of like Shanks and his crew and the pirate theme and everything. I think they did really well done for Shocky's bar compared to the original. Kai's Mansion's your favorite? Oh yeah, Kai is. A little rich people are in another world. Yeah, that's true, because the One Piece world, I mean, there's such a big dichotomy between the poor and the rich in the society of One Piece, as well as here. But yeah, they did do like above and beyond. Like Kaya's closet was ridiculous, and she was like, yeah, I just don't want it. So I thought that was really cool. I remember very early Sanji, Nami-san, and Zoro Idiot. This may even be on the way to Logtown. Yeah, I mean, they did, like, oh, did I say Shocky's? I kept saying Shocky's, shouldn't I? Yeah, Makino's bar. Yeah, not Shocky's. Shocky's is fucking Rayleigh and all that shit. Yeah, Makino's bar. Yeah, I mean, Zoro and Sanji didn't, like, get along, like I said. Like, they did have their, like, quips at each other, but it all super got focused on Little Garden. So I think that was a little cooler to have that like be the moment that they are going at it and shit. But it was just very harsh, like so early on. But I love the Zoro and Nami moment, especially when they're doing the drink thing like Game of Thrones. I'm, you know, watching Game of Thrones, hey, for the second time. But the first time I've only got up to like season 2. So this is my attempt to actually watch the series. And we like just watched the scene where Tyrion is doing the shots with his little wifey. His little girl acquaintance. And they do this exact same thing, which I don't know if this is a reference to Game of Thrones or if this is something that people do that I'm just not aware of, but it was just funny to see that those scenes back to back that's like, tell me something about myself, and if you're wrong, you drink. So it was cool. It was cool to see that. It's very good of the two edgy characters getting to know each other, but what I will say is that I did not like, early on when I was watching up to this part, I did not like Zoro's, or I didn't mind Zoro's edginess up to this point, but I told my friends, I was like, but if Zoro doesn't lose his shit when he sees Mihawk, then we've got a problem. Then Zoro's character is at stake. And what do you know? He sees Mihawk, and again, I don't want to say whose fault it is, because I don't know. I don't know if it was an actor decision, if it was a director's decision, producer. I don't know how fucking movies are made. I don't know who has a say in what. Usually it's the director saying like, no, you know, Makenyu, do less emotion. Don't feel anything. Now do it again. Take 69. But here, Zoro turns around, looks at Mihawk, and you see there's a zoom in on his face, and he's like, oh shit. But in the manga, like, Zoro is like shaking. He is like, all the verbs I'm trying to go through my head aren't proper. He is bursting with anticipation to fight Mihawk. He's not scared. So, like, this cockiness, this confidence is on par with Zoro. But Zoro's got the crazy eyes when he sees Mihawk the first time. When Mihawk is, like, he's sailing up and he cuts the boat in half, Zoro's like, oh, he, like, puts his hand on his shoulder, like, oh, and he goes crazy. And here, Zoro's like, oh, you're Dracula Mihawk. I've been following your career as a child. Too bad you're gonna die tomorrow. I'm gonna become the world's greatest swordsman. Rono Zoro, that's me. I'm gonna become the world's greatest swordsman. And, I don't know. It gets rid of Zoro's craziness. Because like I said earlier, Zoro's fucking crazy. He's just as crazy as Luffy. And that's why they are so fun together. And here he's like, you can tell that he's nervous, like he's doing, like he's like fixing up his swords later. But he is like, he's angry. He's anger. Whereas Zoro in the anime or manga, whatever, is more like, he's like ready. And he just does it. It's impulsive. He's like, I'm gonna fight you right now. And this was like, tomorrow at dawn, you're gonna die. I think a lot of Zoro versus Sanji stuff was just fans. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I mean, just people love to see Zoro and Sanji fight, so that's probably the thing. Sanji's insults aren't even in the subtitles, so they were probably improv'd. Yeah, like Mosshead, I think, wasn't in the subtitles, or, you know, I don't know how subtitles are made, whatever, but... W imitation! Oh, man. Again, so, yeah, the fact that Zoro does not lose his absolute shit, because that would have been so good, too. The way that Zoro's portrayed here, he's so calm, cool, collected, and confident. Calm, cool, collected, and confident. Wow. Alliteration, kids. So to see all of that break apart when he sees Mihawk would have been so much more impactful, because you can see that Zoro's been a badass throughout this whole thing. He's been shown as more of a badass than Luffy, especially in like the first episodes. Like, Zoro's the one to save everyone, and he's like got the reputation. Like, Zoro is such a bigger name in this early live action season. So then to see him, who's been built up as this really confident, again, calm, cool, collected, and confident character, we're going with it, to see that break apart with Mihawk, and it's like, oh shit, because that's how it was in the manga too. It's like, you see Zoro so strong, and then you see him go up against Mihawk, and as Mihawk says it, he's like a frog in the well, croak, croak, croak. And it just doesn't, like, the weight of their fight isn't there in Zoro's reaction to Mihawk. Whereas you see, like I said, Zoro's like sweating. He's like, oh, I want to fight him so bad. Oh god, it's Mihawk. Oh boy. And he's like, oh, Mihawk. But with all that being said, the choreography, again, fucking A++. S tier fight choreography. I mean, he even has his little sword. You can really feel like just how out of his league Zoro is. Oh, and someone had said earlier about how why Nami doesn't leave on like her own choice. I think that does take away a lot from her character, because yeah, then she just leaves when Arlong's there, which I mean, that's not my biggest complaint, I guess. And I thought it was very cute how we who know what happened expect Nami to leave, because she does. She takes the boat when they're distracted with Mihawk, and she leaves. But for this little reveal here, you know, like they, yeah, I mean, I just clicked on it. Kitten, please don't eat the microphone. We're expecting Nami to leave, but she was so tore up about Zoro and everything that this reveal that she is still here and she didn't leave, I thought it was kind of sweet. I'll say that that didn't bother me so much. Later on, it certainly did. You know, all the other shit, but yeah, I mean, Zoro's fight was really cool. I thought his swords being broken were really dumb. I know, again, it was like panel for panel. I know, because I drew that panel, like right here, where his swords, section by section, fall apart. Very uncanny. That's not really how swords work. Obviously, in the manga, it doesn't matter, because it's a manga, but they could have just had his swords, like, break in half. In the live action, it was just weird. But everything else great. He gets slashed. It's rough. Passes out. He does the whole, you know, Zoro oath. Rono Zoro, that's me. I will never lose again. I think this is possibly one of the only moments that are a little bit better. Still not good. Well, not as good as it should have been. But a little bit more emotional compared to the others. And then Luffy spends a very large amount of time being filled with self-doubt. And like I said earlier, that's like my phrase today, is like I said, Luffy being more in touch with his emotions in the live action does translate a lot better, because him being an asshole and being like subtly and behind the scenes really emotionally intelligent, you know, not everyone can pick up on that. So to make it more blatant, be like, oh no, I really worried about Zoro, but I'm not gonna get rid of his dreams. But they really emphasize the whole captain thing, which again is very reminiscent of Water 7. The Garb thing, the Kobe seeing Luffy again reuniting, and then the whole captain issue where Luffy doesn't really know what it means to be a captain because he's just so carefree that he's never had to deal with it before. And this is like one of those moments where like Sanji tells Luffy his whole backstory, because he's like, because Zeph was a captain, and Nami's like, oh, well, he's the captain. Sometimes you have to make the hard decisions. Which, that moment specifically where Nami is reading Zoro Mont Blanc Noland, that was a good Easter egg. I very much enjoyed that. But I think Sanji's backstory was a little bit drawn out. Like, I get it. But, again, considering all the emotion that is left out of the Sanji and Zeph character shit, I think his backstory should have been a little bit shorter. I don't know. Idiot Luffy is my favorite, yes. That's true, yeah. That's why I'm like, I don't know. I would still prefer the OG Luffy, but I think the choice to make him more in touch with his emotions is not necessarily a bad choice. I do prefer psycho crackhead Luffy every time. But this is like, you know, it's given him a lot, like because Luffy's a nice guy, man. You know, he's a nice guy. He cares. And a lot of people don't see that, or like, you know, like in the story, you don't always see that because he's just doing some random shit. But behind everything that he does is always, you know, it's always caring. But the thing that I do disagree with is the doubt, the self-doubt, because that's the whole point of the Usopp versus Luffy fight, is that the self-doubt of Luffy, like, this is the first time you see Luffy doubting himself. And Zoro's the one who has to step up, and he's like, no, I know being captain's hard, but you're gonna stick to your decisions. If you're having doubt now, who the hell are we supposed to look up to? So it's very, very important when Luffy has doubt. Self-doubt, specifically. And then that leads further and further. That's like the first tumbling moment of Luffy's character, where he has self-doubt at Water 7. Then Sabaody, Marineford. You know, we all know where that goes with Luffy's self-doubt, and that eventually breaks him completely. And that's, you know, the whole point of the rest of the series. But to see him already having self-doubt now is a little weird. Like, I'm all for him being in touch with his feelings and being more caring and supportive, but him looking like he that's the thing, that's the word, regret. I kind of don't do regret. There, see, exactly, he's like, I kind of don't do regret. But damn, do I regret letting Zoro I don't know, I mean, he didn't say he regretted Zoro, you know, because Nami and him go back and forth and fight about it. But yeah, he's like, I kind of don't do regret. And then he's like, man, this sucks. So it's kind of clashes. Those two concepts kind of clash there. But this hour-long The Arlong coming into Baratier and working with Buggy, by the way, fantastic. I love that so much. It's the greatest crossover is Arlong and Buggy working together. Fantastic. But this first interaction with Luffy is very reminiscent of the patterns of Luffy and villains, where they meet for the first time and Luffy gets his ass handed to him. Very reminiscent of that, but it also kind of adds to my problem about how Luffy doesn't get, he doesn't seem as powerful in the live action as he does in the manga. Because here, the man's spotless. He gets 2 little scratches on his chest and then wins all of his fights without breaking a sweat. Because he does something else. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't defeat Arlong because he's like all bloodied and they're doing a fisticuffs. He defeats Arlong because he breaks his tower down. And all that I don't know. There's not a lot of weight behind Luffy's physical, like, fighting prowess. Because one of the biggest reasons, one of the biggest examples of how amazing Luffy is in battle is at the Baratier against Don Krieg. And Zeph is literally like, Sanji, watch that kid, because the fucking motherfuckers who don't fear death. Great Usopp scene here where he's under the table. So good. I love Usopp. Usopp is like my favorite character almost in this live action rendition of it. But no, Zeph is like, these motherfuckers who don't fear death, who just go straight into battle without a second of hesitation, those are the people you really gotta worry about. And like, that's the whole thing with Luffy, is he's such a badass fighter. He doesn't care. He has no self-preservation. He just goes. He goes at it. And that's taken out. So we don't see Luffy as being a great fighter in this series. Changed my mind. He's not impressive. Impressive as a character, but not as a fighter. I did like finally some emotion out of Zoro when he declares himself, like, his first mate. I, Runo Zoro, will be your first mate. You're my captain till the end. That's really great. And the fact that he's, like, yanking Zoro around, jumping on him is so good, because Zoro is just tortured by Luffy forever and always. The nipple twist of Usopp. God, fucking every scene that Usopp's in makes me laugh. God, Jacob does such a good job. Such a good job being Zoro. Usopp. It's getting tired. I'm getting tired. Alright, let's move on. The last 2 episodes, I'm not gonna have a lot of good things to say. Overall, it was still fine. It was still One Piece. It was still that joy of seeing some scenes recreated in live action form. However, a lot of things were changed in these 2 episodes, in the Nami saga. And unless we find one as we go through it, I don't think a single one was the right choice. Every single one decreases the impact of the narrative, of her character, of their characters. Hell, Genzo doesn't even get his moment to shine. He's like, why is he even there? He doesn't even get his scars the proper way. Bellemere, oh, a lot of Nami changes were no good. Yes. Let me go on a Bellemere tangent. I don't like it. That's it. No. Bellemere, in the manga, specifically pays the money for Nami and Nojiko. There's no way that Bellemere tries to hide that she has kids. She denies Genzo trying to lie for her. And she specifically says, I would never pretend like I don't have children. She gives Arlong the, was it 2,000, 1,000, 1,000 berry, 100,000 berry, whatever it is, the amount for 2 children or 1 adult. She hands it to Arlong, he starts walking away, and she's like, wait, that wasn't for me. I have 2 children. And that's when Nami and Nojiko run over to her, and they have that really sad, sad moment where even Genzo is like, Bellamere, what are you doing? This could have been fine. And Bellamere says, I refuse to pretend like I do not have children. In the live action, Arlong is the one to figure out that she has 2 kids. He says, this is the amount for an adult, this is the amount for children. And Bellamere's the one who tells Nami and Nojiko to hide under the house, which that's fine for their safety. Like, she's, you know, not necessarily because she wants to hide the fact that she has children there. But she gives him the money, and she doesn't say a goddamn word. She lets him leave. She's not gonna stop him and tell him that she has 2 kids. She just gives him the money that he asked for and says, well, great. Looks like we're clear. But Arlong is the one who does a double take at the table and see that there are 3 settings, 3 play sets, whatever, dinner sets, plates, set up. And in the manga, Genzo's like, well, Bellamere invited me and the mayor over for dinner. That's our plates. And Arlong's like, oh, okay. And again, Bellamere's the one to say, no, those are my children. In the manga. In the live action, you can see there's the moment where Bellamere, let's go, let's just fucking play it while we're fucking talking about it. There is a moment where when Arlong says like, oh, there's 3 plate sets, you know, they confirm, they even say it, like, oh, that's even worse. Oh, that's even worse, because then Buddy here, I can't remember the name of, he goes through and sees the logs of the town or whatever where, you know, Bellamere's listed as single and never having kids. He says it, Kurobi, that's his name. And she doesn't correct him! She doesn't correct him. And there, that moment right there where she sees that he sees the 3 plate sets, and she says, damn it! Almost got away with it. That takes away from her character 150%. Can't change my mind. This is the hill that I'm dying on. Bellamere, 100%, cannot change my mind. She was letting Arlong leave with him not knowing about Nojiko and Nami. And Genzo doesn't get to show up and have his heroic moment. That's how he gets his scars. He gets his scars in the first 5 seconds that they're there in this one. So Genzo, his character is just dismissed throughout this. Genzo's even the one that tells Nami about Bellamere's backstory, which is even more impactful because Nami and Bellamere don't see each other again. They get into that big fight. Nami runs off to Genzo. Genzo explains to Nami why she shouldn't do that and explains, like, on Bellamere's behalf. And Nami's like, oh, you're right, you know, I'm gonna go apologize to her, and they don't get a chance to. Like, that's why it's so fucking sad. But here, Bellamere looks and sees that Arlong sees that she has 3 plates set up. And she's like, damn it. And then, she has the audacity to say, yeah, I guess I do have 2 kids. And he's like, well, you need 50,000 each of them. She's like, I don't have that money. And just sip them out. And Nami's like, why didn't you just lie? You didn't have to tell him about us. And this bitch has the audacity to say, like, you're my daughters. I would never deny that. Fuck. Damn it. No, I would never deny that you're my daughters. You're my children. Yes, I would never lie about that. God fucking damn it. Why did he see the plates? Oh, I love your kids. Like, it's so bad. Bellamere doesn't do she doesn't do any sacrifice. There's 0 sacrifice. She just fucking dies because she got caught. Oh, There's my rant. My rant is over. Why they changed it, I don't know. Because, you know, supposedly, I mean, not supposedly, I mean, Oda does have a hand, did have a hand, a heavy hand, in this series. In the live action. So I don't know how he let that slide. Also, I saw that Oda was very much against Garp showing up this early, and I thought it was interesting that like, a lot of people don't like the Garp thing, and Oda was like, yeah, probably shouldn't do that. But they're like, no, we're gonna do that. And then no one liked it. I mean, it was cool to see, like, characters, you know, showing up that you wouldn't see later on, like the armament hockey and the observation hockey thing was pretty cool, but yeah, Oda, like, how does he let this stuff, how did he let that scene go? Because it totally takes it all away. And then they switch up a lot of the events with the Nami thing, Zeph and Garp talk, which I think that's pretty cool. My next rant, I'll keep it shorter this time. Oh, there's two, because this moment too. One, the fact that the town doesn't know that Nami is sacrificing her time and her efforts to buy the village back. It's just so, and specifically Nojiko, because one of the things that allows Nami to hang on for as long as she does is because she does have Nojiko. Nojiko is the only person that has her back. Because Nami tells Nojiko very early on, when she says that she's going to work for Arlong, which here, that was my second rant, that Nami seeks out Arlong to tell him to join her crew, which I guess could say, like, that kind of lends more credence to Nami's intelligence, even as, like, a young girl. Because she's like, I'll help you, but you have something that I have. Like, that's very adult of her at that young age to confront Arlong like this. So I guess that's not a terrible thing. But it's more impactful that Arlong's just like, no, you're coming with me. He just grabs her by her face and drags her off into the crew. And that's where Genzo starts shooting. And that's when Genzo gets his scars. It's like he almost dies protecting Nami. Again, taking away from Genzo. But yeah, the whole Nojiko thing is like, Nami knows that Nojiko knows, and so she can lean on Nojiko when she gets back to the village, and, you know, Nami doesn't know that the rest of the villagers know, so that's a huge reveal, that the whole time the town was on her side, and were putting up with Arlong's rule because they were betting on Nami. They believed in her. They wanted her to be the one to save them. And then, so when Arlong betrays her, it's that much more impactful that they're all like, no, we knew what you were doing, but even you couldn't save, you know, I mean, not in a bad way, but, like, he betrayed you too. Like, he's not gonna let us go, so this is it. Like, all this time, we were putting our belief in Arlong keeping his deal, and he didn't even do that, so let's all go and fight. And that's when Nami breaks down so much more. She finds out that the townspeople knew about her sacrifice and are now putting their lives on the line for her. And that's where she breaks down and does the knife thing, that the townspeople are going after Arlong. But that's all changed here, that not a single person knew what Nami was doing. There's slightly more drama that Nojiko here when she finds out. You know, like the antagonistic way that Nojiko is here, I guess, is more dramatic. That she actually, you know, when she finds out, she's like, oh, Nami, that's so great. I can't believe it. But, like, imagine in this world, Nami is completely alone. I don't know if she'd be able to do it. Completely alone, not a single person on her side. Nojiko hates her, the town hates her, because obviously the town puts up a facade that they don't like her, so that she doesn't figure it out. But again, Nojiko is that one person that supports her. They don't even reference how Nojiko got those tattoos in solidarity with Nami getting hers. Like, Nami got that tattoo of Arlong And Nojiko gets a bunch of tattoos, and she's like, oh, well, you got a tattoo, and I want to, you know, I want to have one with you, like, so you don't feel alone. It's so emotional, all the stuff that Nojiko does for her, and they take it all away. They take it all away. Fucking Nezumi over here. Here, for once, they have some emotion. In Nami, screaming after Genzo. Nezumi. That's a successful scene. When they steal her money. You know, she's running. That bitch can run. Look at her. She's going flying. Watch her. Holy shit. She's zooming. Zooming. Spin out these facts. Oh, and then, you know, I just want to reiterate, as we're wrapping up, that Arlong does a fantastic job. I don't know the actor's name, but the actor who plays Arlong does a fantastic job here, and also we'll skip on to the next one. Oh wait, no, we won't, because I want to talk about the whole thing with the fucking tattoo hat. But no, like Arlong does a really good job at giving his monologues here, and then when he talks to Nami and. Well, when he talks to Nami alone, that's a really good scene. Here, when he's talking to the fishman, he, like, does a really good job. And then, especially when he is talking to Luffy and Nami in the map room, he does a really, really, really good job. But here, now we're gonna complain again. I'm so sorry. Again, still 8.5 out of 10. With all these complaints, still, it's fine. Usopp's moment when he tries to trick Chu and changes his mind was cut. Yes, that's true. Yep, he plays dead. And then, yeah, because they recreate that here. But for what is shown, there was, like, no reason for him to play dead. Because he does the ketchup star, and he falls, like, he's pretending to be dead. Chu leaves, and then Usopp just gets back. He's like, hey, alcohol's flammable. You know, it's like there was no point to him playing dead if he was just gonna sneak attack him anyway. Well, he didn't even sneak attack him. He was like, hey, lips, or whatever he calls him. So yeah, they did take away that Usopp moment, which was very important, because he's like, no, man, I can't fake it. You know, my friends are out there risking their lives. And he stands up to the fisherman, which is super impressive. But this scene is very uncanny. I don't know what it is. It is panel for panel. I will say that they did a fantastic job recreating the shots of the scene. It is panel for panel. What Nami does, what Luffy does, it's all really well done. However, the dialogue is not good. And I just want to say, this is my time to say that I have watched it with the Japanese dub, and it's so much better. I don't know what's wrong with us English speakers, but we ain't got emotions, I guess. Because like here, I don't know, again, it's like cut too fast. Nami, like here it's fine, like she's saying Luffy to go, but they don't linger on her face. Maybe she just isn't, I don't know if she's just not doing as good of a job. I don't want to say that because I love all the actors and they're all great. But like there's no turning point in which I can see in her face that she's like, I actually need to ask him for help. She's just all of a sudden like, Luffy, help me. And then like the expressions are good and everything. She's sad. But like Luffy's dialogue is really bad too. Because when, like, this weird hat thing is really weird, too. Like, not breaking the eye. I don't know. I don't know if it's directors. I don't know if it's the actors. I don't know. But it's weird. I don't like this scene. And it's, like, the best scene of the East Blue. The single best scene of the East Blue is this. And they just, I don't like it. I don't like how they do it. Because, yeah, like, Nami's like, you don't know anything about this, and Luffy here is really almost monotone. Not monologue. Monotone. He's like, I don't. I told you to leave. You did. It's just really weird. Whereas in the anime, she's like, you don't know anything about what's going on here. He's like, nope. Like, he's more Luffy-like. And he's like, I told you to leave this place. He's like, you did. Yep, you did. You know, I don't know. Just the delivery of the lines aren't well done in that scene. And it's heartbreaking because it's so close to glory. I think that's the big thing. Is like there's so many little details that could have been changed and could have made it so much better, and that's why it makes me so angry, is that it's like so close to being so good. So good. And then here, it is nighttime, and they see the fishermen attacking the village. And then we cut to the next day, and they show up. So you're telling me these motherfuckers watched Kokoyashi Village burn throughout the night and just decided to come in the morning? Like, damn, Arlong really did a bad job here. At least Usopp's putting some work in. They really let it burn. They just seemed like, damn, is that Kokoyashi Village? Yeah, looks like Arlong's pirates are just destroying the place. Man, that sucks. And then they show up bright and early. Hours have passed. Hours have passed. It was dead of night, even if it's on the verge of dawn. And if this is early morning, hours have passed. You can't say that it wasn't. And then they're just now showing up. They don't rush to save the village. The Straw Hats are really known for not saving people in need. That's really what they're known for. So I thought that was so crazy that the next episode started in daytime with them like rocking up to a destroyed village. I'm like, what did they do? What were they doing? What did they do for the past 3 hours? Take a stroll? Go sailing? Eat? What? They literally let it burn. I like laughed out loud when I watched this the first time and they showed up to the village in the daytime. I'm like, oh, excuse me? What? But this is the last episode. Yeah, we talked about the Usopp thing. I do like Buggy. You know, Buggy's showing back up and then he leaves. The fight overall, the fishman fight, like with Zoro and Sanji, they do a really good job there. Kurobi, I forget his name, Kurobi, right? Kurobi, if that's how you pronounce it? I don't know. Kurobi, they really buff him up since they don't have Hachi, so Kurobi has to take on both Zoro and Sanji, which is impressive for Kurobi, I just want to say. But that's all good. Here, we don't need to watch this because it's horrifying. I don't like the teeth thing. You know, he does fine. This is all good. And Luffy and Arlong, like, go back and forth. Like, they do a pretty well done fight, and I like watching it. But again, bloody my boy up. I swear. It needs to be. That boy needs to be covered in blood by the end of his fights. Not a single scratch. He is fighting a fishman, a shark fishman, with all those teeth and all those weapons. There's not a scratch on him. Great choreography, again. Just seeing, like, Luffy's, like, just a side tangent, besides him not being bloodied, they do a really, really good job at nailing everyone's fighting style. Like, Nami with the bow staff, Zoro, Makenyu does amazing with his swords, Sanji does great for all the kicks, amazing, and Luffy, like, constantly doing flips, stretching, just being like an acrobat in his fights is so well done, and I absolutely, I can't say enough of fantastic things about the fight choreography. Except that there's not enough blood. I mean, it's rated, I mean, it's not like this is rated G. It's, like, there's blood, Zoro gets sliced in half. Hell, while they're fighting all the fishmen are just blood splurting everywhere. So, I don't know why they didn't rough Luffy up. Like, yeah, he's dirty here. He's dirty, and he falls a lot, and he gets thrown into walls, but there's no like big impacts of fight and just everything that Luffy's putting on the line for the fights that he goes into. But then he crushes Arlong's spirit, he destroys the map room, everything Arlong's been working for, and that's how he wins the fight. So that's fine. Also crazy that they made him pop out of the rubble instead of just getting up. Just a very small thing, but it's very uncanny and he just jumps up. Very weird. Very strange. He could have just, I don't know, stood up out of the rubble like he did in the manga. And here again, I think they just needed a little bit more lingering on Luffy here. Like, there's the emotional, he comes out of the rubble, everyone's like, oh, he is alive, oh my god. And then he's like panting, he's like, I won. Nami's looking at him. Like, they need a little bit more here. Just wait. Let it set in. And then he can shout out. Cause Luffy does it really, here at least, he does a really good job at portraying the emotion. I think the only time that I can complain about the line delivery is Nami's, the knife scene, the hat scene. I think that is where Luffy falls flat, and the line delivery is really, really off-putting. Everywhere else, though, Luffy does a great job in acting. This is a cool scene with Garp. Like I said, fantastic foreshadowing for observation hockey and armament hockey. God, when he throws the cannonballs too, I skipped over that part. Also weird that, like, Luffy was really self-conscious about Garp being his grandpa. That was a whole thing that was really, really focused on. Nami was really upset that Luffy didn't tell them that. Which I could kind of see from her perspective of being like, you know, like, we just signed up for this and already your grandfather, the Vice Admiral, Garp, is going after us. Like, I would have liked to know that. That's fair. And then Luffy's like, oh, sorry, I didn't, you know, let's not talk about it. I'm really embarrassed. I'm really upset about it. Like, in Water 7, Luffy's like, what, Grandpa? What are you doing here? Oh, yeah, this is my grandpa. Oh, Dragon's my dad? Huh, never met him. Didn't know I had one. You know, like, he's just so more carefree. And in this, he's a lot more like, again, there's a self-doubt in Luffy here that I don't like. And then I already talked about how Garp being here is useless. Because he's like, oh, this whole time I was just kidding with you. Just wanted to see, to make sure that you knew that you were going to be a pirate. I'm going to let you now be a pirate. That seems very odd. Seems like they rushed important manga scenes for time, but what they did with that time was linger too long on original scenes that don't matter. Yeah, like, oh, like the Nami playing card scene. I get that that's a really good setup for how, like, the atmosphere of Arlong's crew, like, they're playing poker, betting money, money's important, don't lie about money, Nami's lying about money. It's almost like they're setting up for her asking for it, because she's like, oh, we don't lie about money on this crew. Meanwhile, she's cheating. She cheated them out of money, which is very Nami-like, but then she's upset when Arlong's like, oh no, I cheated. So it was weird counter foreshadowing of Nami cheating Arlong out of money in a weird way. But it was just, yeah, that scene was like 10 minutes, it felt like. Why? We didn't need that. We could have much more benefited. We could have benefited much more from the hat scene. And then fucking Garp just walks away. You're like, okay, why was he here even to start with? This emotional scene doesn't hit as well either. It's very weird. This is perfect. 10 out of 10. Love every scene that Kobe and Luffy are in together. You're a wanted man. And he has that really cool little face. And we see his wanted poster, which he looks so goofy in, which is perfect. Damn. He's so goofy, and of course they do the Usopp. They have to do the Usopp thing. I like everyone reacting to it, and then I 100% love that they do the where are they nows, just like they do in the anime and the manga, where they see everyone reacting to the newspapers. Newspapers are the most important thing out of One Piece. I want you to know. Newspapers are the single most important thing in this series. 100%. It's so nice in full circle how Kobe gives Luffy his first warning. Yeah, see, I do like that. I don't like the Garp thing. I think that that whole, like, the end result of Garp's, it was just a total waste of time at the end. I also like how Luffy's bounty poster was on top of Buggy's here, and Buggy rips it down. He's like, I'll kill the shit myself. But yeah, the Kobe and Luffy thing, I was here for every single time. When Kobe showed up at Syrup Village, that was very interesting. Again, kind of pointless because the Marines didn't do anything for Usopp. They certainly didn't help him as much as Kobe wanted to. Kobe at the end of the day was like, sorry Usopp, sounds like you're lying. He didn't say that exactly, but basically that was the outcome. And Garp's reacting to it, and then of course, the biggest thing is the Shanks and Mihawk, where Mihawk rolls up. And it's such a good scene. Such a good scene to see them. What does Shanks say? He's like, I can still take you with one arm tied behind my back. It's so good. It's very funny. Oh my goodness. It's very good. Oh, and, I mean, just Arlong, I'm not Arlong, Mihawk. Mihawk is just sick as hell. I love it, absolutely love it. Ooh, yeah, so, I mean, Lucky, perfect, perfect. And then they show him the wanted poster. And then what do they do the last? Oh, the last scene's the barrel scene, which I think there's nothing wrong with the barrel scene. They do the barrel scene really well. They're all setting off. Oh yeah, the reveal of the straw hat thing is at the very end. I think that's really adorable. And Luffy's so excited. The very ending is very good. Like, after pretty much this whole episode, well, after the Arlong fight, when they all happy again, and they have like the little after party, Usopp's lying, of course, to everyone, telling him that he was the one who defeated Arlong. Like, from that point on, it's about halfway through the episode on, everything was really, really well. Okay, no, I lied because that was the Garp moment too. Ignore the Garp moment too, but everything else is fine. It's interesting to think about the people in the One Piece world known by Yonko. That's true. That's true, yeah, people would just know. That's true. Yeah, newspapers are important. Newspapers are important. The worst in the East. Oh, yes. Okay, so yeah, the barrel scene's great. It wraps up the whole series really, really well. Beautiful shots here of everyone smiling. Wow, it's crazy what happens, how I smile when our characters smile at Nami and Zoro. Smile a little bit. Hopefully they'll break out of it next season. Hopefully, at least Zoro, because I'm really looking forward to Crazy Zoro. I like Crazy Zoro. I mean, he has his comedic moments, but overall, I don't think it's a good choice. So hopefully he breaks out of that. Nami seems to break out of her thing. I mean, hell, she doesn't even say goodbye to Genzo! She says goodbye to Nojiko. Doesn't even say goodbye to Genzo. Oh my god. But then, the very last scene, Smoker-san! He's got the 2 cigars and building the rocks. And he's the last one to see Luffy's wanted poster, which is super cool. Very coy of them to show the back of his head so that they don't actually have to, like, cast anyone yet. They just had some random person. Oh, hey. Now they're trying to get me to watch the anime. What's this? Oh, what? 16 seasons. I don't want to watch that. No. Oh, man. But hey. Overall, 8.5 out of 10. With my rants, maybe even an 8. But again, for what it is, I was absolutely impressed with everything that they did. The actors were amazing. The sets, the fight choreography, I think, was the best part of all of it. Definitely not the emotional moments. But yeah, Luffy and Usopp were by far my favorite. Sanji was well done. They just didn't give him a lot of character. Just in of itself. There wasn't a lot of character. His goodbye with Zeph wasn't really emotional at all. To me. It wasn't warranted. Nami was a little too harsh throughout the whole thing. Which, like I said, you know, having her have a lot of fun with the crew and then betray them purposefully was a lot more impactful than her just seemingly not liking them at all. Slightly coming around and then leaving them anyway when Arlong shows up. And then Zoro, I think, is, although, you know, I won't complain when he's on screen. Him or Buggy. Or Sanji. They had the shirtless scene for a reason. I just want to say. Whew. Although I won't complain when Zoro's on screen. Damn. That's how you know I was real serious about this. It took me till right now, 2 hours later, to go into the fact that Zoro's hot as fuck. I was into this review, okay? I took it seriously. Hell, all of them are fucking hot. Usopp's hot. Usopp has no right being that hot. Nami's, of course, hot. Luffy's hot. Hello? They're all hot. Okay, glad we got that out of the way. But Zoro, character-wise, when compared to the manga and everything, he was definitely my least favorite, unfortunately. Which sucks, because I love Zoro. I just think they need to branch off from the emo sake, like, I'm gonna wear all black, I'm Roto Zoro, to more of the, like, yeah, I like to fight, like, you know, that cocky, evil demon in him. Shit like that. Genzo's speech is so weird and flat too. Him yelling, "We will die trying to fight for it" is super awkward. Yeah, it said that. Well, maybe if I watch it back again, but I didn't mind Genzo too much, and I think he looks really, like, well done. Like, I thought the actor, I don't know. Of all the complaints, I didn't think it was too bad. I didn't notice it was weird. It was, that scene in general was weird, just because, like, the townspeople are going up and like, yeah, we're gonna fight for it, we're gonna die for you, Nami, we just found out about your sacrifice, even though in the manga we knew about it for 10 years. We're gonna go fight them now. And Nami's like, no, don't do that. This is my fight. The townspeople are like, okay, good. Because, yeah, we would have fucking died. They just don't fight Arlong. It needed a retake more than anything? Yeah, maybe. But, yeah, Zoro was my least favorite. Luffy and Usopp are, like, pretty much tied. I mean, I'm personally a hardcore fan of Luffy, but the way that Jacob portrays Usopp is so good. They do Usopp so well. I really, 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 really like it. But yeah. Nami's good. I think I like Nami more than Sanji. I think it would be Luffy, Usopp, Nami, because she does have her moments too. I do like her. Sanji, just because there's not much to dislike. There wasn't much given to us, but I did very much like all the scenes that we were given of Sanji. And then Zoro is my least favorite, just because he was real edgy for no reason. But overall, again, 8.5. I can't decide now, because I did complain about a lot of things for Nami, and it really did take away. Like, I was livid at the Bellamere thing. That bitch was not gonna sacrifice shit. She didn't. She just got caught in a lie. She literally lied about her children, and it's just like, oh no, I would never lie about you. Bitch, what? That's what you just did. What? We won't go there again. So, hope hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry it has taken so long for me to get my thoughts out there about this live action. I was gonna go like actually full episode by episode, but I mean, we do what we do. I didn't have time for that. So hope you guys enjoyed my thoughts about this in the stream. Like I said, you know, I kind of, you know, I like more the conversation that I can get out of a stream more than just publishing a video. So hope you guys enjoyed. And if you're watching this back, make sure you comment below all your thoughts about the live action, because, you know, let me know what you liked, what was your favorite part, what was your least favorite part, and of course like the video, like the stream, and subscribe, because it helps out a lot and gets me motivated to do more streams like this. I need to catch up on the One Piece anime. I saw that the Kaido versus Luffy fight has concluded in the anime, so I think I have 3 episodes to catch up on with Gear 5, which needs to happen, like, now. So we'll see. Might be next week, of course. Who knows? But, yeah. I will be looking forward to Season 2. Season 2 will be great. This has set up really high expectations for the adaptations going forward, especially how well it was received. Like I said, it was trending, and it beat the record of a TV show trending in the world. So, yeah, we're definitely getting a second season, and I'm hoping it continues from there. Tony Chopper for Puppet. Or just cut him, honestly. I don't think we'd lose much. Get Kureha on the crew. Get Law on the crew. He's a better doctor. Alright, this is where you stop watching, because I'm shitting on Chopper, so we're gonna end it now. I'm so excited for Season 2. Hopefully we won't have to wait that long. I think I saw somewhere in an interview that they can get it out within a year, which is great considering how long we've been waiting for this one with the pandemic and everything. So yeah, cheers to Season 2 to celebrate, and I hope you guys liked it as much as I did, because as much as I shit on it, I very much enjoyed the live action One Piece rendition, and I have rewatched it a lot, and I plan to continue watching it again and again. So yeah, everyone have a good night, evening, morning, wherever you are. And stay tuned. We will be having a chapter reaction this Friday. Maybe not this Friday. Oh no, we might not be able to do it this Friday. We'll talk about it. Alright. Bye. This is Beppo. I know he was off to the sidelines. Beppo signing out. Bye.